the last of today's session.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم فقهنا في الدين وعلمنا التأويل. I ask Allah to make this a beneficial sitting and a series of lectures bi'idhnillah, and that He gives us the correct understanding of this important topic and its implementation in the best way. But before we start the book bi'idhnillah, I would like to congratulate the masjid, and I would like to congratulate everyone that's here, because you are doing something which is very honorable. And in fact, having conferences where you would study a topic intensively over a space of a few days, or maybe even in one day, is from the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Malik ibn Huwairith said that we came to Medina, us with a group of young men, and we stayed with Rasulullah for 20 days sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he taught us about the basics of Islam, and then he sent us back to our families to teach them what we had learnt from the Salat, from Tawheed, etc. So this clearly shows that gathering and learning a topic in a fixed period of time is something which is legislated, and if it wasn't just this point from the Sunnah alone, then it would be sufficient for us. But also we have another evidence where the Prophet ﷺ spent all day, Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, after every single Salat, explaining the Ashrat al-Sa'ah to the companions. All day he was talking about Dajjal. All day he was talking about the events and the seriousness of the establishment of the hour. So this again clearly shows us that having intensive courses so that we can understand a topic very well in a very short space of time is definitely from the Sunnah, but also it has a lot of fawaid where a person is able to concentrate, and a person is able to understand the topic and go away having understood the topic in a very good manner. So congratulations to the masjid, and ask Allah to give us tawfiq so that we can understand this book and this amazing topic within this conference over the space of the next coming week. I'm sure you've had an introduction from the other speakers, and they've talked about the importance of knowledge, and they've talked about the importance of ikhlas. But I want to ask you a question now. Why are you here? Why are you sitting here in this masjid? Why are you thinking that, let me listen to this topic? There's a person speaking. Are you just sitting here to socialize? Are you sitting here just because it's convenient? Prophet ﷺ said that a group of people don't sit in the masjid of Allah إِلَّا حَفَّتْهُمُ الْمَلَائِكَةِ. This is from our belief in the unseen, that we believe in the malaika, and they are created from light, and they don't disobey Allah. لَا يَعْصُونَ اللَّهَ مَا أَمَرَهُمْ. So it's also from our aqeedah to know that this gathering bi'idhnillah is being witnessed by angels. Whether we don't see them, but they are here. And Allah has appointed certain angels that go around the whole earth looking for majalis al-dhikr like this one. So as if the first point wasn't enough as an honor and a respect in following the Sunnah, Allah has malaika, the best of His creation, those who do not disobey Him, coming and witnessing this majlis with us bi'idhnillah. But the Prophet ﷺ continued, and he said, وَغَشِيَتْهُمُ الرَّحْمَةِ. Allah's mercy surrounds the group that has dhikr of Allah and studying the knowledge of the Quran and the Sunnah. وَنَزِلَتْ عَلَيْهِمُ السَّكِينَةِ. Tranquility descends upon them. And look at this next bit where the Prophet ﷺ said, وَذَكَرَهُمُ اللَّهُ فِي مَنْ إِنْدَهُ. Allah mentioning your name and your name and your name with the malaika that are close to him. Your Lord from above the arsh is mentioning your name because you are here making dhikr of Allah Jalla wa Ala. The topic of this book, Shuroot Salat wa arkanuha wa wajibatuha, is the second pillar of Islam, and its importance is not hidden from any of us. But I would like to ask you a question. What are some of the virtues of Salat? What are some of the virtues of Salat? There's no virtues. Not even one. Tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkar. Excellent. Has anybody got another one? Qurratul Ain. What does that mean? Qurratul Ain is the coolness and the sweetness of any action that you have. This is the best action. Anything else? You worship Allah by it and through it. Yes. It prevents you, it makes you a better person. It makes your personality better. It makes your actions better. You are worshipping Allah through it. Anything else? Sam? Sila, he said the same thing. It's the connection between you and your Lord. Zain? It helps you to stay away from sins. We've had that. You get closer to Allah. We've had that. We're not talking about just the action. We're talking about the overall virtues. So if you have thawab, niqab or anything else. Afdal al-a'mal, salat. Excellent. Anything else? It expiates your sin bayna salawat. The difference between a Muslim and a kafir is the salat. فَمَنْ تَرَكَهَا فَقَدْ كَفَرَ. Ikhwan, we could be here all day talking about the virtues of salat. But everything that you have mentioned here, do you ever want? Mention it. Noor and Burha, excellent, beautiful, Jameel, Allah yafaz. But the point here is, every single one of us has thought about some kind of dalil, Quran and Sunnah, talking about the virtues of Salat. Why did you do this? Because Allah and His Messenger has told you this. That with them, Salat is extremely important. But now the question is that virtue in your life? Do you look at Salah and this will tanha anil fahsha, and this is the Qurratul Ain for me, and this is a sila bayni wa bayna Rabbi? Is this my burhan? Is this my nur? This is why we are here to understand this book, my brothers and sisters. It's not just something that we can pass and think, oh, khalas, I know I'm praying properly, and khalas. The salah has an actual impact on who you are. It's not going to be a nur on you for Yawm al-Qiyamah if you've just done the actions and you left. Think, why do you say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen? Think, why do you say Allahu Akbar? What does it mean to say Allahu Akbar? I say Allahu Akbar over and over again in every position. Why am I saying that? What does it mean? My Lord loves it. And if I stop doing it, my Lord will put me in the hellfire forever. Sah. Man tarakaha faqad kafar. La nasibuhu fil Islam. He has no... And the ulama have taken this even further, that he doesn't inherit, and he's not buried with the Muslims, there's no ghusl upon him, there's no janazah upon him. Why? Why is it so important? It's important because Allah and His Messenger love it. But is it important to you? Do you have khushu in it? Think about the next time you pray, how fast are you praying? Can it get faster? Some people actually believe me, some people even think like that. How can I free myself from this salah so I can go and do something? I can do some kind of fahisha. I can do something where my qurratul ayn is actually not even in the salah. I'm just doing it so I can finish it. What this person is saying is, oh Allah, don't punish me on Yawm al-Qiyamah. He's establishing the prayer to say to Allah, don't punish me on Yawm al-Qiyamah. He is not establishing the prayer to say, oh Allah, I love you. Oh Allah, I'm magnifying you. Oh Allah, you are Akbar. Oh Allah, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Oh Allah, give me the highest station in your Jannah. So this book, my brothers and sisters, is a fiqhi book, talking about the actions. But these actions are beloved to Allah and His Messenger. And the Prophet ﷺ spent a considerable amount of time establishing the salah and explaining it to us so that we can benefit from it. And not that we can just free ourselves from punishment or free ourselves from the act of salat. The title of the book is The Conditions of the Prayer and the Wajibat and the Pillars. But before we go into the book, I think it's very important that we explain and we contemplate also on the actual title of the book. Now, this explanation, MashaAllah alaykum, in Leicester we have many Tullab al-Ilm now. Many are coming to a very high grade as well. Many have joined us from outside and they are not from Leicester, but they are coming to Leicester. And I think every single one, including myself, want to be like these people. I look at some of the brothers that we have in your community and other communities, and I feel like I want to be like them. And fil haqiq, they should be sitting here, not me. But the reason why they are better than us is because they take talab al-ilm very seriously. They don't look at this book and think, khalas, let me just finish the book. Let me attend a nice lecture. Let me just take some information. Now, there's a difference between information and ilm. Ma'lumat and ilm. Information, you can have a lot of information. If you're not going to act upon it, then it's not ilm. So I want you to get into a framework in this sharh, in all of your explanations, in all the lessons that you attend. What is the dalil? If I'm thinking about something, if I'm talking about something, what is the dalil? And from that dalil, is there any other benefits that I can extract from it? Is there any way that I can analyze between the adillah, between the ahkam? Is there any way that we can draw an analogy and a parable between these things? Because this is what makes you talib al-ilm. That you're able to scrutinize and stimulate your mind in the topic that you are studying. And just this title alone, as we will see, and this is an example of what I've just said, there are benefits in fiqh, there are benefits in usul al-fiqh, and there are also benefits in aqeedah. Shuroot al-salat, wajibat wa arkan wa wajibatha, benefits in aqeedah. How? We will see. What's the meaning of shurt? Anybody who can answer, I will give them a prize. What's a condition? That's a translation. I mean, what is the meaning? Hamza. You can give it in English, no problem.
Something that if it's present, doesn't necessitate completion. If it's not there, then it necessitates that.
Barakallah fiqh. You can collect it now or you can collect it after. I promise the present. Jaiz. Allah yabarik fiqh. ما يلزم من وجوده وجود. If it is present, without it, that action, the following action, will not be correct. This condition has to be there for the other action to be correct. وَمِنْ أَدَمِهِ أَدَمْ. If it is not there, then it is not there. Can you pray Salatul Khusuf if you haven't seen the eclipse? Why? Because it's a shart. إِذَا رَأَيْتُمُوهُ فَصَلُّوا. Prophet made it a shart. If you see it, then pray. If you don't see it, don't pray. But also from this we understand that just because a shart is there, it doesn't necessarily mean that the following action is there. Do you have wudu? He has wudu. Does he need to pray right now? Doesn't need to pray. He's facing the qibla. Do you need to pray right now? Just because the shart is there doesn't necessarily mean that the following action is also there. Make sense? How is this connected to Aqeedah? Because I promise this is connected to Aqeedah. There are people who are saying that we need to go and make jihad everywhere around the world. Why? Muslims are being oppressed. Muslims are being oppressed is one of the Shuroot. Just because that Shurt is there, does that necessarily mean all the other Shuroot are there? No. If all the other Shuroot are there, does that necessarily mean that jihad is established? Again, the answer is no. So the point here, this clearly shows that those people who are calling to takfir, calling to irhab, extremism, they haven't understood the very basic as to what Shurt entails. Another example in Aqeedah, they say that we know that Allah didn't create us because we have proof that a monkey changed into a gorilla, changed into an ape, and then changed into a man. Proof. We have bones, we have fossils. This is a shart for them which necessitates now that Allah doesn't exist. Does that mean now, okay, so we say for argument's sake, say that did happen. Does that necessarily mean that Allah doesn't exist? Are you with me so far? That just because something is there, it doesn't necessarily mean the following action is also there. And also Islam gives a jawab to this anyway. Even if we were to say for argument's sake, a monkey changed into a man and your grandfather is a monkey, the Prophet ﷺ told us, بَيْنَ يَدَيْ السَّاعَةِ, before the hour is established, 3 things will happen. 3 things will happen. Masq. Anybody heard of what masq is? What's masq?
Transformation.
Transformation. Allah will transform His khalq into something else out of adhab for them. Didn't Allah change the people Ashab al-Sabt into gorillas and apes and swine? This will happen again, the Prophet ﷺ told us. وَخَصْفٌ, eclipses will become plentiful. وَخَذْفٌ, people will slander and insult one another plenty. What's the point? The point is that even if you were to say that the shart is there and it's fulfilled for you, it doesn't necessarily mean that there is no Lord. And Islam has given also another aspect that we can say, khalas, okay, we're not depending on science, but Islam has told us that man have changed into monkeys. The word shart entails 3 things. Also, there are 3 different types of shart. And this is also important because every single one of us here prays salat. But this man here, he's here with his children. Are the shuroot for him the same as it is for his children? The answer is no. How do we know that? The ulama of Islam have said that there are 3 types of shuroot. Number 1, shart al-wujub. And this affects all of us. When do you pray Salat al-Isha? Can you pray now? No. It's a condition for the action to become wajib or mustahab for you. So the hukm has to be there, or the time has to have entered for the action to be there. Clear? Shuroot as-sihha. The action will not be completed, it will not be correct if these shuroot are there, if these shuroot are not there. And this is what we are going to study in this book. Making wudu, facing the qibla. If a person prays in that direction, not this direction, salah is batil. If a person prays without wudu, salah is batil. That is shuroot as-sihha. The shuroot that are needed for the action to be correct. And the third one is shuroot ijza. Shuroot ijza. So now this child, he's got wudu and he's prayed salah, but it's not wajib upon him. He's not an adult. He's not an adult. maybe he hasn't got rushd, he hasn't gone past a certain age, but he will be rewarded for it, and his father will be rewarded for it also. So these are the three different types. Why is it important? Because it is important for us to know that Irja applies to certain people and not to all people. The second thing that we find in this title, وَأَرْكَانُهَا, arkan. What is a rukn? Definition of rukn. Zain. That's the translation. I need a definition. Jazakallah khair. Can I have a book? But excuse me. Without it, the action will not be established. Some of the usuliyun have said هو الداخل في حقيقة الشيء محقق لماهيته. It is included within the framework of something, and it incorporates that actual thing. This water bottle consists of plastic and it consists of water, and all of this is a water bottle. If you go to the shop, there is no plastic and the water just falls out, you're not going to buy that. If you go to the shop, there's no water inside, you're not going to buy that. The thing that makes it up has to hold it together, and it has to be part of that thing itself. Why is that important? So example, the Fatiha and Rukn and the Sujood, all of these are parts of the Salah. What about Takbirat al-Ihram? Is that a Rukn or is that a Shurt? Remember we said Shurt is once something is established, then the rest of it is going to follow on from it correctly. If I have wudu, then the rest of it, which is Salat, is going to follow on from it correctly. Are you with me so far, yeah? This is a Shurt. Remember we said if you've got wudu, it doesn't necessarily mean you need to pray. If you're facing the Qibla, it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to pray. If the time for Salah is entered, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are praying. But Takbirat al-Ihram now, is it part of the Rukn like we've said? Or is it a Shurt? Why? It's attached and it makes up the Salat. And this is an important point in Aqidah. Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah didn't agree with this last bit, limahiyati. He didn't agree with that. He said that an action, the beginning point of the action, is not included in the action itself. The beginning point of the action, so Takbirat al-Ihram, is not part of the Salah, it's a Shurt, it's not a Rukn. Maybe you think this is khilaf, it's fine. He still says you need to do it. He's still going to say that you can't not do it for your Salah, not to be correct. But the reason why this is important, and one of the things that came off from this point, including in his own opinion, which he repented for afterwards, is that is Iman and actions connected? Ahl Sunnah believe that Iman is a Rukn for, actions are a Rukn for your Iman. You can't say La ilaha illallah and not do anything. Sah? How are you going to get to Jannah? إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. Together, it's part of it. But they said that Iman is one thing, and this is the beginning of your belief, and the actions are something else. So it's not from the Mahiyah. This is Rukn. Wajib. What's the meaning of Wajib? Translation, brother. I need a definition. I can choose you again, but I can't give you a gift. MashaAllah, Jazakallah khair. What the legislator has commanded for you to do as an order. Others from the Usuliyun said, Ma yuthab fa'iluhu wa yu'aqab tarikuhu. If you do it, you will be rewarded. If you are not going to do it, or if you don't do it, then you will be punished. This is something which is wajib. If a person doesn't pray, has he fallen into this definition? Remember, we said the definition is wajib, something you must do, and if you don't do it, you'll be punished. A person doesn't pray, is he going to be punished? Are you sure? What do you think, Shaykh? If a person doesn't pray, is he going to be punished? 100%. What do you think? What was your definition again? Some of the mufassirun or the usuliyun, like Ibn Uthaymeen and others, rahimahullah, have said mustahiq bi'iqabih. How many people we know have not prayed but they have an excuse, or that they will come on Yawm al-Qiyamah and Allah will forgive them? This is possible. How many people have done something wrong and they don't know that they're doing something wrong? And we look at him and say, Akhi, you've done something wrong. You've fallen into something haram, or you haven't done something which is wajib. And this is where the khilaf between the definitions have occurred between the usuliyun. And Ahl Sunnah, based on this, have come up with a principle called al-udhr bil-jahl. And we've explained this before in our durus, but just to quickly recap, if a person is ignorant, if a person makes a genuine mistake, or he does something out of forgetfulness, we can't specify a ruling upon that person until these aspects have been removed. How does that affect us? You might think this is very technical. It's not technical, and it does affect us. Tell you why. Because whenever we see something wrong, how many times do people get angry and they address that something wrong in an incorrect manner? They make presumptions that the person has the same level of knowledge as you do, or he has the same opinion as you do. So you see him doing something wrong, you go to him and say, what are you doing? Taqallah, what's wrong with you? What this teaches us is we need to be gentle, we need to make excuses. And the whole point of having wajib, and tahreem, and mustahab, mandub is that we work with one another to get the pleasure of Allah. Not that we have a whip and we hit one another and say, do the wajib, and if you fall into the haram, I'll hit you even harder. That's not the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. That's not what he came for. His message was that we worship Allah upon guidance, upon ilm, the kitab and the sunnah, working with one another so that we can go to Jannah with each other, us and our families. Not that I think bad about this brother. Look, he doesn't even have a beard. How do you know that he thinks the beard is wajib? How do you know that his opinion is that the beard is wajib? And from this title as well, my brothers, sisters, we know from the fiqh and the intelligence of the Shaykh. Why did he call it? What's the most important one, do you think? Shuroot, or Shurt, Rukn, or Wajib? The Shurt is most important. Are you going to be questioned in front of Allah for the Shurt? Is Allah going to come to you and say, why didn't you have wudu every single day? Why didn't you face the Qibla every single day? What do you think? Which one is the most important? Shurt, Rukn, or Wajib? Rukn, why is it Rukn? Allah going to say to you, why didn't you make ruku every single day? As in stay in the state of ruku every single day. Is Allah going to ask you that? Wajib. Allah is going to ask you about the wajibat. Of course He is. But why didn't the Shaykh say wajibat as-salah wa shurutaha wa ra'akana? Why didn't he say that? What do you think? Stimulate. This is what I'm saying. Talab al-ilm. Think. Look at the adillah. Look in your head. Why? This is the question. Why did he call it Shuroot as-salah wa arkanuha wa wajibatuha? Excellent. What's the order? It's the order. It shows you the fiqh of the Shaykh. He's giving you the Shuroot because the Shuroot are the most important for the Salah to be established. Once the Salah is established, what's more important, the Rukn or the Wajib? The Rukn. Without the Rukn, your Salah is batil. With the Wajib, you can do Sujood Sahw. But the Rukn, if you don't do Ruku', khalas, the Salah is, if you forgot to do Ruku', can you say that I've prayed? You've not prayed. The whole Salah is batil, because like we said before, it's the mahiyat shay. If I say to you, you can buy this from me, but there's no water inside. Transaction is batil. Even in Islam, you can't buy something which has no benefit. So this shows you the fiqh of the Shaykh. And it shows you what we need to understand also. Prioritizing things. Approaching things in the most correct and the right manner. This book here we have in front of us is a book which is based on Hanbali fiqh. And that's something which is very important, because a person might look at these Shuroot and these arkan, these wajibat, and they will look at other people from different madhabs and they will say, these people, they don't know how to pray. But this book is a Hanbali book. But the question now we ask, are we following this book because everything in it is correct 100%? Or do we follow the books from the madhahib so that we can understand and gain an understanding, have a basis in understanding, and then that will help us to understand the different views as we progress in talab al-ilm. The books, the ulama of usul from all the different madhahib are in total agreement that it's the second one. To the extent that the ulama of the madhahib said that if you don't understand what is in our fiqh books, Hanafi, Shafi, Malik, you're not allowed to follow it. Number one. And number two, you're not allowed to give fatwa based upon it, because you're not qualified to do so. So why do we have this book? Why do we have these huge collections of Hanafi books, Shafi books, 10 volumes, 20 volumes? It's because when you read these books and you study these books, you understand the view of the madhab. You understand the usul that they've based it upon. And as you study and study, you are able now to gain in knowledge, and you are able to decipher between what is right and what is wrong. So this is a Hanbali book. But it doesn't necessarily mean that all of the opinions in here are 100% correct. And as we go along, bi'idhnillah, we will look at the difference of opinions. If there is a difference of opinion, and we can discuss that a bit more, especially if it is something which is somewhat controversial or something important. Hadiyah. It's a gift for me. Why is this important? You might think, okay, but akhi, we've got a basic book, we're seeking talab al-ilm, and we just want a basic overview of the book. Yes, I agree with you. The whole purpose of the Shaykh writing these mutun and the other books that you were studying is to keep it simple so that you can evolve and become better, and then you get into the more technical things. But the reason why I've made this point here is because now we are sitting in a Somali masjid, and the Somali fiqh is Shafi. This brother, where are you from originally? Syria. What fiqh do you have in Syria? Shafi again. This book is a Hanbali book, and most of us are accustomed to taking the Fatawa of Ibn Baz and Fawzan and Uthaymeen and the Mufti and Lajna Da'ima. Hanbali. The masjid that we pray in and have durus in, they are from Libya, Maliki. And as you know, you go to all these other masajid, 90% of the other masajid, Hanafi. So we're living in a city where it is completely mixed up. So it has to come to a stage now, in my opinion, where a person has to understand why these people are doing things differently. You can't just look at that brother and maybe some people, a lot of the people, they have bad thoughts. Let's be frank. There's people in other masajid, they look at this masjid, they look at the Libyan masjid and say, these people, they don't know how to pray. They don't even know how to stand. Why is he putting his foot next to my foot? leave me alone, give me some space. But they don't understand. If you don't understand, you will become intolerant. And you won't understand how to deal with the madhahib. So the point here is we're not going to go deep in all of that. We have seminars for that, and we've got one on Monday. That's something which is completely separate. But here, just to give you a taster, in this book, the Shaykh says, or the Shaykh will say, that the Salah is 14 pillars. Arkan with the Hanabila, 14 pillars. You miss one of them, the Salah is batil. With the Hanafis, how many pillars do you think they have? How many arkan of salat do the Hanafi madhab have?
17.
Much less. Much less, well not much less, less. 8 arkan. 14, 8. Takbirat al-Ihram that we just seen is not a rukn for them. So if you say Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, you've entered into Salah. What's the dalil? وَذَكَرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ. Then next, فَصَلَّى. So the dalil. All you need to do is make dhikr, have the niyyah, and you've entered into Salah. So for them, Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Is that Salah for you? No. According to the Shafi'is, Hanabila, it's batil. The Shafi'i madhab have 13. Before that, the Hanafi madhab. How many times have you been to a masjid and you've seen a Hanafi person pray and he prays like this? Sami Allahu liman hamid, Allahu Akbar. Have you seen that? Have you looked at that and thought that's a bit strange? Sami Allahu liman hamid, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. And he's moving like this. Have you seen that before? It's not to degrade. Wallah, like I said in the very beginning, the introduction, this is because we are seeking talab al-ilm. And we are trying to stimulate, and we are trying to understand. And we are trying to draw the correct conclusion, making analogy, looking at the dalil. The reason why is because tuma'nina for them is not a rukn of the salat. So if you say وَلَدَّالِينَ Ameen, for example, and you go Allahu Akbar, Subhanallah, Sami Allahu liman hamida, Allahu Akbar, and you're praying like this, tuma'nina, tranquility in each position for them is sunnah, it's good, it's not rukn. So now maybe you can understand that when you go to this masjid, people are praying very, very fast, and now you have a reason. Tafadhal, you can read. You want to read? Jazakallah khair.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Muhammad wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. قال المصنف رحمه الله تعالى بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. شروط الصلاة 9: الإسلام والعقل والتمييز ورفع الحدث وإزالة النجاسة وستر العورة ودخول الوقت واستقبال القبلة والنية.
Clear? Shall we go to the next point? He starts with Bismillah. And this is from the Sunnah of Allah. Allah starts every single chapter in the Quran, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim are the most repeated words from the names of Allah in the Quran. Your Lord, and every single benefit that you see in the dunya, that's only one part of His mercy. Your Lord has written when He created the creation that His rahmah sabaqat ghadabi, has promised that His mercy will overlap His anger. So now when you read the ayat of adhab, when you read the ayat of shayateen and dalala, Allah's mercy is far greater than that. There's a hadith that's been recorded, and Albani rahimahullah said is Hasan, and this is fitting well with the Salat. That there is a river in Jannah. Along the river are the most beautiful of women. Beautiful. And the way they are dressed, the most beautiful of dressing. وَيُغَنِّينَ بِأَحْسَنِ الْأَصْوَاتِ Prophet ﷺ said that they are singing with the most beautiful of voices. To the extent يَسْمَعُ الْخَلَاقِ everybody in Jannah يَسْمَعُهَا everybody in Jannah is listening to the singing that's going on. Pause for a second, my brothers and sisters. How many people are tested with watching music videos? How many people are tested with watching immoral images? How many people are tested with going into the city centre just to look at things which is not halal for them? In Jannah, there are women everlasting. They don't need to have a shower to look good. They don't need to wear perfume to smell nice. They are halal. They are tayyib. They are tahur. They are made for you. And they are singing in Jannah. The Prophet ﷺ said the whole of Jannah can hear them singing. And he said ﷺ that those people who hear this will think that there is no ladhatum, there is nothing better than this voice. So they asked him, the companions, what are they singing? What are these women singing? Prophet ﷺ, what do you think they were singing? Pop music, rap music, poetry? The Prophet ﷺ said they are saying Subhanallah wa Alhamdulillah. We have the Shuroot of Salat, and like I said to you before,